then he fires not one shot, 4 shots,
Right.
which to me seems excessive, but I would not have wanted to be in that flashpoint decision moment that officer got thrust into.
Skip, you have to understand, he gets a call, and it's, okay, someone is being threatened. He pulls up. What's going on? Now, you got to understand now, when he arrives on the scene, he doesn't know anybody. He doesn't know her age. All he sees is what's going on, and he sees someone with a knife. Okay, his job is not only to protect himself, he has to protect everyday citizens also. So at that very moment, he must do his job, what's written on every police car, to protect and serve. He must protect those that might be in harm's way.
I'm getting chills talking about this because I would not have wanted to make that call.
No.
I wish to God that he could have used some kind of stun gun, some other kind of tactic to subdue her. But at that moment, let's do the opposite case. What if he waits and she stabs? And what if, let's do just the worst case scenario, what if she kills the other woman?
Then they're going to hold police responsible because he should have done something. Because in that situation, he's damned if he do, damned if he doesn't. But the guy that came in and kicked the young lady, you should have been trying to defuse the situation and get the knife from Miss Bryant.
Okay.
I mean, the adults on the scene, you got to be the adults in this situation, and we can't expect children to act and behave like adults in a situation like this.
I got it. And yet I don't get it. I don't know how to stop this. I don't know what the right move would have been made. Then last night, I'm racking my brain thinking, what if the officer had been a black officer? Would he have reacted differently? Would he have felt for the scenario differently? Would he have been able to control it? Would they have listened to him? Would they have not have been as threatened as they were by the white officer giving everything this country has gone through for years and years?
Right. And maybe, Skip, maybe at that point, she was in such a mind state. Because, Skip, look, anybody that's ever been in a fight, you throw caution to the wind. Come on, bro, let that go. And you get to that point, Skip.
It's blind.
Yes,
it's either
rage.
Blind fear or rage, either one.
It's been built up so much, you're trying to hold a person back. It's something, they get a strength. I don't know if you tried to hold someone back when they're in a rage, but it's not as easy. Yeah, we can sit here and talk about, oh, they should have just grabbed her. But it's not that easy. People get abnormal strength when they're in rage. They can do things that you don't think they can normally do. Like I said, he pulls up on the scene and he sees this chaotic scene. He jumps out, he asks, okay, what's going on? And someone appears with a knife. Now, he doesn't know the person with the knife called the police. He doesn't know. The dispatcher said, someone called a cop, there's a chaotic scene, yada, yada, yada. So he doesn't know what's going on. He just sees a person with a knife. So for all he knows, they called on her.
Correct. Okay, so then LeBron tweets the photo of the cop, and you're next, hashtag accountability, and I love accountability, and then the hourglass, like the clock is ticking on you.
I know what he meant. I believe he says, okay, you see what happened to Derek Chauvin? Accountability. Now you're about to face accountability, the hourglass. But see, some people might have took it, oh, LeBron put a hit onto this man, and the hourglass is running down. So you see, he left that up to interpretation. I believe he meant that you're going to have to go in front of 12 men and jury of your peers.
Okay.
And you're going to have to face accountability just like Derek Chauvin. That's what I believe he meant. But he left it up to interpretation. What if people don't interpret it like that?
In the end, it's why, as a white guy, I'm very hesitant on Twitter to tweet about race because it's just too few words. It's just
exactly.
And
even if they give you 280 now, Skip, it's still not enough.
It's not enough.
You need 3,080.
I need 2.5 hours with my guy Shannon, and I need to kick it around, and I need to look at it this way and that way, and over here, and I need to hear you, and then I need to crystallize my thoughts. And it's much safer for me to do it on television because even though some days we get forced to just, we have to leap before we really look carefully.
Skip, had he, and this is why, a lot of times you see people tweet their address and where the person, lives, and I'm not all for that. Let the person have a certain level of privacy. I get it, they've done some things, and we disappointed in that. If LeBron had tweeted a photo of the officer and says, you know, you're next, and the hourglass. Okay, but once he hashtag accountability, that's what was trending when Derek Chauvin got convicted. Is accountability. We're going to start to hold these officers. We're going to start to hold them accountable for their negligent actions. And so that's what I believe he meant. But because some don't want to believe that, or you know, he left it up to interpretation. Like I said, Skip, a person's perception is their reality. Their interpretation of what you mean is their reality. So they might have interpreted, oh, you put a hit out on the cop, LeBron, you got his picture up there talking about you next.
No, I got it. Obviously, Derek Chauvin was found guilty on all three counts, and in a couple of months, he will be sentenced, I hope, to prison for most of the rest of his life, if not all of. You don't think so?
No, the guidelines are too vague. The guidelines are he's going to get 12 and a half to 15 years.
No, you think so?
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
Boy, I don't.
With no prior history, I mean, you got to look at
that first count. The most serious count was his second degree, you know, in, what do they call it? Unintentional
murder. Basically, it's second-degree murder. Basically, it's a manslaughter charge. But, Skip, the thing is that they're going to run them concurrent. So all these will be served together.
That's a maximum of 40, and they said the DA will ask for 50.
Well, here it is, but it's up to the judge. The judge sets the sentencing. I mean, yeah, we got this, but the judge will set the sentencing guidelines. Now, he's going to argue upwards. He'll argue it upwards because of the grave, the disregard. He says that George Floyd was vulnerable. He says that, you know, you're culpable for this. So they're going to try to move it up. But I believe, Skip, look, I'm saying somewhere between 12 and a half and 15.
Ooh, boy, I hope you're not right.
I hope I'm not right also. But when you look at it, that's kind of that's normally where it goes to the sentencing guidelines.
Okay. Now, just for the record, I need to put this on the record that just on balance, there was another incident in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. I don't know if you followed this one.
I did.
And it was Andrew Brown. There was a search warrant issued. Sheriff's deputies went to his home. He had some drug charges and been convicted of one misdemeanor possession charge. So they go to search, and he flees and gets in his car and roars back out of the driveway. And they pull guns and shoot. And they killed him out in the street before he could take off.
Right.
And my problem with this is, once more, we see lethal force. I'm not saying there wasn't a reason to try to stop him because they had a search warrant.
Right.
I got that.
Right.
So by the letter of the law, he's breaking the law. But to me, how many times have we seen out here in Southern California a chase on the freeway?
All the time.
It goes like for 2 or 3 hours. It's fascinating to watch, but they're just waiting for him to run out of gas.
Run out of gas, right.
Right?
Yes.
And they're not shooting on the freeway.
Right.
They're going to subdue him, usually with dogs. You know, they're going to arrest him.
I think for me, in some Black America, Skip, it seems that lethal force is the first line of defense. There's no de-escalation. I mean, that I can see if the guy is, you know, he wanted for 6 murders. I can see he wanted for 20 rapes.
Right.
Misdemeanor drug possession, drug charges, really?
Right.
And you fire into the vehicle for all that?
That's reason enough.
Yes.
To go lethal force.
Right.
Shoot to kill force.
Right. And we just saw, Skip, in Minnesota, the guy, he drugged the police officer 2 or 3 blocks.
Yep.
And they still take the man alive.
So I just wanted on balance to show that did happen also.
Yes.
So let's not undervalue this one as opposed to that one. They're all different. They all have very different circumstances. We know the George Floyd circumstances, and we're about to talk a little more about them in the perspective of Brett Favre next.
Right, and Dante Wright's situation. So, you know, let's and I'm glad, Skip, the body cam, because for me, I'm glad the Columbus PD released the body cam footage, because had they just, I wasn't going to take their word. I'm never taking police word for anything again. Because after what I saw what Derek Chauvin had wrote in his statement,
I agree.
He didn't write what he actually did. And they co-signed it. Those 3 stooges that were right alongside him, they co-signed what he did. I'm not taking their word for it.
Yep.
I'm going to need body cam footage, or I'm going to need, you know, third eye footage.
And to your point, over the last, I don't know, 100 years in this country, how many of these incidents did we not know about because there was no footage?
Right. Oh, he had a medical emergency. Now, Skip, if that young lady